and welcome to CONNECTpreneur. We're glad that everyone could be here this morning. CONNECTpreneur is a global community of over 30,000 investors, CEOs, entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professional service providers from all around the world. 2025 marks our 14th year, and during this time, we've hosted over 100 in-person and virtual CONNECTpreneur forums with over 1,500 presentations from 900 plus presenting companies and alumni. About 60% of our presenting companies have received funding from investors that they met on our platform. We have built an investor community of over 4,000 accredited private investors, angels, and family offices who have attended our events and who are interested in investing in awesome deals that they can meet through our platform. And our community database now exceeds over 320,000 technology business leaders and investors from around North America. Hopefully, you've already been able to download the program book for today's event. If you haven't, no worries. Our marketing coordinator, Emily Fanush, will post it in the chat now. You can take a look at our program book for today. A couple of things about today's event. We have 9 awesome presenting companies, and after our final presenting company, we'll open up breakout rooms for about 30 to 45 minutes. And each one will be hosted by one of our presenting companies. You'll be able to enter and leave whichever breakout room you would like. Just a note to please remember that these breakout rooms are hosted by presenting companies, and they are for our presenting companies to talk more about their company and for investors to be able to ask questions. So please be respectful in these breakout rooms. Another note is to please be respectful and tactful when using the group chat. Feel free to post your LinkedIn and other contact info a couple times, but please be brief and make sure to not overload the chat. We would really appreciate that. We recommend that you download the chat before you go into breakout rooms. That way you can read it back through afterwards and have that saved chat for yourself to go back through. We will be polling our investors after every presenter today. These polls are for direct investors only. So if you are not a direct investor, please do not answer the investor polls. These are confidential and we will not be sharing any of the poll results with the audience. So please note that our team does go through and fine-tooth comb these investor polls. So we try to make sure that all these people who answer the polls are investors only. So once again, please, if you're a direct investor, answer these polls. Our marketing coordinator, Emily, is going to put some links in the chat. These are for our YouTube channel with hundreds of past videos of past presenters, our upcoming in-person event, which is for February 6th in Baltimore, our upcoming virtual event, which will be February 27th, the link for today's program book, and a couple other links that you'll want to make sure to take a look at. Lastly, if you're interested in sponsoring or presenting at our events, you can send me an email. I'll put my email address in the chat and we can be connected that way. So with that, I want to put up a first poll, which is for our awesome sponsors of this event. So I will launch that. And if you are seeking any of the following services, this is for anyone on this meeting today, please feel free to indicate interest below. And while that is up, I'm going to read out our list of awesome sponsors. Next, powered by Shulman Rogers, Modus Create, AEG, Prince William County Economic Development, Shulman Rogers, Buzzy Rocket, Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce, Maryland Tech Council Venture Mentoring Services, Refraction, Startup Grind, Entrepreneurs Organization, Frederick Innovation Technology Center, Keiretsu Forum, Blue Venture Investors, Dingman Center Angels, Citrine Angels, MIT Alumni Angels, New Jersey Angels, Georgetown Entrepreneurship Initiative, Wharton DC Innovation Summit, Founder Institute, Ryan and Wetmore, Enterprise Transformation Solutions, and Monty Jade Science and Technology Association. So we will leave that poll up for a few minutes and make sure everyone gets a chance to answer that. You can select multiple, and we'll also put up this poll at the very end in case you did not get a chance to answer the first one. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. To introduce our first 5 presenters, I would like to introduce one of our sponsors and partners, Debbie Klein, who is the founder and chief of customer success at Buzzy Rocket. Debbie is well known and an expert in creating that certain elusive magic that drives explosive growth at the intersection of companies and customers. So I will turn the time over to Debbie.
Hi, thanks so much, Skylar. Buzzy Rocket was also founded 14 years ago, and we're a boutique marketing firm that helps businesses grow and scale. We focus 100% on startups. We have a lot of firsthand experience working at multiple startups, founding and growing our own tech startup company, and we've worked with over 125 startups. We only work with 6 companies at a time. You work directly with us, and you get results faster, smarter, and more effectively. I'm excited today to introduce our first presenter, Neil Kohler, who's the chairman and CEO of Alphen Biologics. Neil has deep experience in life sciences, including a 16x exit at his last venture. They're developing breakthrough therapies to treat the world's most challenging, severe, and common skin diseases. They were recently granted another patent covering compositions and methods of use for their drug for atopic dermatitis, and they're dedicated to improving the lives of the millions of patients worldwide with their first-in-class multi-target therapeutics. Neil, I'm going to hand it to you.
Good morning, everybody. This morning, I'm going to tell you about our drug, Zabolofin. It's an important new drug because it has multiple bioactive compounds and multiple mechanisms of action. It makes it very unique. It's got FDA excited and behind us, and I'll tell you about our first indication, which is in atopic dermatitis. You heard a bit of my background, but I think I'll take you through the background of our Chief Scientific Officer next, Dr. Gary Pico. He's been involved in a number of blockbuster drugs, including Bactroban, Keytruda, and Winrow SD. And he spent a good 20 years with his own company consulting with early-stage life science companies. The market for atopic dermatitis is highly unsatisfied. The alternative drugs all have problems, from side effects to painful injections to FDA box warnings to some that are just not very effective. And as we've seen in our phase 2 clinical trials, we solve all the problems so far. This is an example of what we're doing. On the left is a little girl. You can see all that atopic dermatitis around her face. This is after 11 months of treatment with all of the other drugs. And on the right side, you can see her smiling. The atopic dermatitis is gone. And this is after our drug. This is what we've seen in our clinical trials so far. The market is huge. These numbers are numbers set at the lowest reimbursed price for the competitive products, and you can see it's a $41 billion opportunity. If we go to the highest reimbursed price, which we will target, this becomes a $118 billion global opportunity, and each of the individual markets are multi-billion-dollar markets, which bodes well for either a liquidity event or for sales. When we look at our phase 2 clinical trials to date, we find that our Zabolofin has been best for treating the top priorities of atopic dermatitis, itch, quality of life, and patient tolerability. We're the only drug, because of all of our mechanisms of action, to treat the critical priorities of bacteria. And we were highly effective treating the standard priorities, the priority the other drugs treat, the immune system, inflammation. We've got great relationships with TGA in Australia, FDA in the US, and we're about to open our relationships in Europe with EMA. We have 4 key market protections, patent protection out to 2042. Our drug raw material supply looks like we have at least a 15-year head start on GMP compliant volume supply. We have regulatory exclusivity of at least 10 years anticipated in the US 8 to 10 years anticipated in Japan and Europe, and this is exclusivity on the date of approval. And at least in the US, there's no generic drug approval for our type of drug, meaning any competitor would have to do a clinical trial in order to get their drug approved, and that eliminates, by definition, the generics. We're currently raising an $18 million Series B raise. $9 million of that is already in the bank, so we have $9 million to go. It funds 4 key milestones, 2 of which are already funded, and 2 of which can help drive a liquidity event. The first is our clinical trial in Australia, phase 2A, phase 2B clinical trial, 60 patients. The second is the continuous build out of our drug raw material supply. Third, we believe we will be completing a phase 2 trial in our second drug indication. And fourth is the same clinical trial in Australia that we'll do here in the US and Europe. And if I get to the interest in the marketplace, pharma is interested in atopic dermatitis drugs. There have been 3 key exits in the last 3 years, all over $1 billion, all at phase 2 or earlier. We will be at the end of our phase 2 program in 18 months. And with that, I think I'd like to say thank you. I look forward to your questions and seeing you in the chat room.
Thank you so much. And for our direct investors only, as a reminder, you'll see the investor poll for Alphen Biologics up on your screen right now. Thank you so much, Neil. Next, I'm going to introduce Leah Villegas, PhD and MBA and Vice President at Aquilius. Aquilius Ventures Fund is a $50 million fund based in San Diego, focused on early stage medtech and life sciences startups. They're looking to invest in pre-seed and seed rounds for US startups with a mission to improve human health and create a healthier planet, specifically by focusing on women, children, and the elderly. Leah, please go ahead and start your presentation.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce Aquilius Ventures. We are a women-led VC firm investing in transformative health and sustainability technologies. Our mantra is simple: healthy people, healthy planet. Fund 1 is a $50 million fund focusing on pre-seed and seed stage companies innovating in life sciences, medtech, and sustainability. Our goal is to nurture transformative innovations to enhance human health. So Aquilius is spearheaded by 2 general partners, myself, Leah Villegas, and my partner, Mifeng Lei. And this is our story. Both of us are accomplished scientists, serial entrepreneurs, and seasoned investors. We both have our PhDs in pharmaceutical sciences from the University of Florida. And prior to Aquilius, we have over 2 decades of experience in early stage R&D and therapeutic and device development from the University of Colorado, University of Washington, Mayo Clinic, and Microtech, which is our medical device manufacturing company. Our scientific rigor and operational expertise are supported by our team of venture partners and analysts, each bringing deep industry knowledge and proven investment success. Together, this team forms the backbone of our ability to identify winners and then scale groundbreaking innovations. So our approach is what sets us apart. We focus on early stage investments, creating that first mover advantage for our limited partners. We also leverage our innovation hub to connect startups with resources that they need to thrive, which mitigates risk and enhances the likelihood of successful growth and exits. The Aquilius Innovation Hub is a 25,000 square foot building located here in San Diego, California, that houses a dynamic ecosystem that provides startups with a state-of-the-art laboratory, facilities, co-working space, expert mentorship, and access to capital. From wet labs to clean rooms to regulatory support and investor regulations, this hub creates that streamlined operations for startups to grow and thrive. We also have state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, ensuring the scalability. Some of our clients include Intel, Panasonic, and Qualcomm. We also have clients that are scaling from very early stage prototyping into manufacturing. Microtech is just a short 5-minute drive from the hub, so this provides a unique opportunity to easily transition our ventures to their go-to-market strategy. The timing of this fund has never been better. In life sciences, AI-driven drug discovery is accelerating the development of cures transforming human health. In the medtech sector, M&A surged in 2023, highlighting the sector's resilience and growth potential. The sustainability market is also booming, with low-carbon energy projected to dominate global power by 2050. In addition, underserved populations, particularly women, represent a massive opportunity for impact and growth. There is a $1 trillion opportunity in the women's health sector to improve lives and economies by 2040. And as a women-led firm, Aquilius is uniquely positioned to address these gaps with that strategic focus, such as a lens towards underfunded industries like women's health. In addition, Southern California is where we are headquartered, boasts a thriving ecosystem for medtech and biotech startups, making it the perfect launch pad for innovation. So we are raising a $50 million fund with a term of 10 years and an investment period of 5 years. The minimum investment that we are looking for is $500K, and we are looking for traditional terms for the fund 2 and 20. We are targeting 30 to 40 startup companies to be in our portfolio. We already have secured over $5 million in commitments towards our initial closing, which will be at the end of February. In addition, we have soft commitments in early 2025, and we are seeking additional limited partners to join us. So, from a hub, we have a lineup of high-quality deal flow, and these are examples of just a few. We invite you to join the next breakout session to discuss this pipeline. Thank you, and we invite you to join Aquilius Ventures on our journey to empower innovations that improve human health and the planet.
Thank you so much, Leah. We appreciate your presentation. And again, for direct investors, the Aquilius Ventures investor poll will be up for a minute or two here. Okay, great. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing John Bullore, President and CEO of iLumen Scientific. John has deep industry experience and has been successfully leading iLumen as they work to restore vision, not just manage disease. A retinal biotech company, their focus is dry, age-related macular degeneration. It's a highly debilitating disease that affects over 130 million people. John, please tell us more.
Thank you. As indicated, our mission is to improve vision in those with intermediate to advanced dry age-related macular degeneration. We want to restore vision within 90 days. Dry AMD is the leading cause of blindness in those over the age of 50. In fact, 1 in 4 people are diagnosed with the disease and begin to have early vision issues by age 60, and it affects your central field of vision. Now, the market is huge. Globally, there are over 130 million people that suffer with this disease, and it's projected that this market will reach nearly $69 billion by 2029. Now, our therapeutic is an office-based solution that will be delivered by ophthalmic techs and ophthalmologists. We're using microcurrent stimulation that's applied to the treatment area via electrodes that are attached to the surface of the skin. And essentially, patients are treated every other month. Now, what we are doing is improving the voltage level of those support cells within the retina that support the neurocells, which take light in and process that light. Now, we've been able to demonstrate nearly a 10-letter improvement in visual acuity for those that are treated by month 3. And in fact, what we've been able to demonstrate in our recent US clinical study is that nearly 62% of patients by month 2 are responders, meaning they've improve their vision by 10 letters or more. We've also been able to demonstrate an improvement in the structure or the anatomical area of the retina by improving the EZ zone or the ellipsoid zone, which is important to supporting both the RPE and the photoreceptor cells. Now, our process through the regulatory in the US is 2 steps, essentially a safety study, which we will complete by Q2 of this year, and we are initiating our efficacy study or pivotal study in March of 2025, which will then lead us to a Class 2 designation via the de novo process. We have more than 29 patents. Those patents have been granted in the last 5 years, so we have an extended life on those patents going forward. In addition, we've got 14 other patents in process and 3 PCTs. We have a strong management team. We all have experience in surface neurostimulation, especially in applications above the neck, which is important as we deal with both US as well as other global regulatory bodies. We also have a very strong board of directors. Robert Warner, who was the president of the Americas at Alcon, which was a $5.6 billion business, as well as Stella Robertson, who was the head of pharma at Alcon, and also the founding partner of BIOS Partners, who is our lead investor in iLumen. In addition, we have an incredibly strong medical advisory board that includes Dr. Sophie Bakri, who is the chair of ophthalmology at the Mayo Clinic, as well as Tim Jackson, who is the director of retinal research at King's College, along with others such as Dongfen Chen at Harvard Institute. Now, we expect to transition this business through acquisition prior to commercialization. We've already initiated conversations with Alcon, Santen, Bausch & Lomb, and others within ophthalmology. I think it's important to recognize that within ophthalmology, most acquisitions for novel technologies are completed pre-market clearance as well as pre-commercialization. Down below gives you a good idea of those transactions that have occurred within the last 2 to 4 years. I think it's worth noting that Astellas, who is in our market, closed a transaction for $5.3 billion last year. Now, we see 2 trigger points or opportunities for an exit. The first being Q2 of 2027, when we have 12-month data from our EyeSight 2 study or our pivotal study. And the second is Q4 of 2028, when we have 24-month data from our EyeSight 2 study. This is from a funding perspective, we are looking to raise $24 million. This is a priced round. We do have a commitment from our existing syndicate of investors of $8 to $10 million. If you would like to join, the minimum individual investment is $500,000, or you can join our SPV for $50,000. This really comes down to your interest in a de-risked investment opportunity where we are looking at an exit within 36 to 48 months with a 10 to 12x return for our investors. Thank you, and please join our breakout room after the session.
Thank you so much, John. That was so interesting to learn more about that and the great work you're doing. You guys will see the iLumen investor poll, again, direct investors only. And as John said, please feel free to meet them in the breakout room. Next, I would like to introduce Andrea Pais, founder and CEO of Novel Microdevices. Novel Microdevices is an early-stage company working to revolutionize point-of-care diagnostics through the development of the most affordable, portable, reliable, quick, and simple-to-use tests for STDs and other pathogens. They have an incredible partnership with NIH and are delivering really impressive results. Andrea, please go ahead.
Thank you, Debbie. I founded this company after identifying a significant innovation opportunity to bring rapid, accurate, affordable, and simple diagnostics that enable results at the point of care and immediate treatment. The statistics here show that there's a significant need for better diagnostics and better treatment for infectious diseases, with millions of cases and billions in healthcare costs. However, current technologies have trade-offs. On one hand, lab tests are highly accurate, but they take days for results and rely on expensive infrastructure, equipment, and skilled personnel. The rapid antigen tests are fast and inexpensive, but highly inaccurate, so a confirmatory lab test is required, whereas the point-of-care molecular tests are too expensive and still do not have lab-level accuracy. Novel DX stands apart from traditional diagnostics by enabling lab-level accuracy PCR testing to be performed anywhere and by anyone in just 15 minutes. And it's extremely simple to use. Just load the sample into the disposable test-specific cartridge and run the test. Results are displayed on the screen in under 15 minutes and sent to our cloud. Our system is portable, cost-effective, works with many different sample types, and is a true platform technology. We have multiple granted and pending patents that are all company owned, and our system is built on a patented wheel-based assay automation platform that integrates a 3-minute magnetic bead-based sample preparation process with rapid PCR, where 40 PCR cycles are completed in just 6 to 8 minutes. And our first test to market, which is a respiratory panel that detects flu A, flu B, RSV, and COVID-19 in just 15 minutes, gives gold standard performance with a limit of detection that's comparable or even better than FDA-cleared lab-based PCR tests. And this has been demonstrated through proctored blinded sample testing under our NIH RADx-funded project, which led to $2.7 million in non-dilutive follow-on funding from them. And in the near term, our respiratory panel test is set for clinical studies in Q3 of 2025 and regulatory submission in early 26. Alongside our STD panel targeting chlamydia and gonorrhea is targeting clinical studies in Q1 of 26. Our goal is to expand our pipeline to other applications, including women's health and enteric pathogens, to maximize the utility of our installed instrument base, ensuring long-term value for healthcare providers. The market opportunity is huge. Our 2 initial tests for respiratory viruses and STDs are reimbursed through existing CPT codes and have a combined market opportunity of $13 billion. Key customers include primary care clinics, convenient care, and hospitals. And we've built tremendous momentum over the past few years with 22 million raised, including 10.4 million in non-dilutive grants from leading organizations like NIH, CARB-X, and RADx. And this funding has fueled key milestones from early patent filings to establishing manufacturing capabilities right here in Baltimore City. And now with design freeze in place, we're well positioned to execute the next phase of commercialization and market adoption. To support this, we are raising a $3 million bridge round via a convertible note. This funding will drive GMP manufacturing and the building of our pilot instruments, ensuring that we're on track for FDA clinical studies and launch. We also have multiple non-dilutive funding proposals already submitted to enable pipeline expansion. Our leadership team has developed and launched diagnostic systems for top companies like Abbott, Beckman Coulter, and BioFire. We're also backed by top advisors, ensuring that we have the expertise to bring this breakthrough technology to market and scale it successfully. And lastly, our target exit strategy is a strategic acquisition, and market data shows clear stage-based exit valuation multiples ranging from $170 million at pre-revenue design lock to billions of dollars at revenue generation. With major diagnostic players actively acquiring next-generation point-of-care platforms, Novel DX is positioned for significant value creation as we advance towards commercialization and revenue growth. Thank you, and I hope to see you all in the breakout room.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Very, very interesting. I look forward to learning more about that. Again, for direct investors only, you will see the poll for novel micro devices that we invite you to participate in. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Sheldon Goldstein, a medical doctor and the CEO of Coagulation Sciences. Coagulation Sciences is a blood testing innovator with 7 patents, incredible market success. They help blood banks and hospitals significantly decrease blood transfusions. Their multiple coagulation test system rapidly arrests bleeding, improves patient safety, and reduces healthcare costs. Sheldon, please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So the mission of Coagulation Sciences is to prevent unnecessary blood transfusions, and that will improve patient outcomes and decrease hospital costs, improving the hospital's bottom line. We know that blood transfusions are risky. The top of the slide summarizes the complications. The bottom of the slide is one of thousands of papers confirming that blood transfusions harm patients. I only mentioned this one study because it has over 4 million subjects and is extremely carefully controlled. And patients who received the transfusion had a 90% greater risk of infection and a 70% greater risk of death. And I consider death a very bad outcome. Currently, if you read literature, what's on the left here is a multi-step decision tree and algorithm. This particular one requires 3 devices and manual pipetting. If a patient has suffered a gunshot wound and is bleeding on the operating table, no surgeon or anesthesiologist has the time to perform such testing. We know there's an unmet need for better testing. We know that 40 to 60% of transfusions are unnecessary, so they're needlessly harming patients. And the global TAM for coag testing instruments and consumables is projected to be $7.8 billion by the early 2030s. Our device is small, provides fully automated results in about 10 minutes. Single-use cartridge profit margin 79%, so basically a razor blade business model. This animation doesn't play over Zoom, but anyone who asks for the deck, it will show how the system worked in a pilot study at the Mayo Clinic. Blood goes into the test tube, and then it is vacuumed into multiple channels that contain therapies. So what's really different about our test platform, existing tests will indicate something's wrong with the blood. Ours is the only platform that compares the ability of treatments to decrease bleeding. So it guides treatment. This is an example in the colorful figure of a sample that is abnormal in rows 1 and 18. And then basically our cartridge tests 8 different treatments in low and high dose. Anything in the green column shows this is an effective treatment. This is a fully automated result. Not only does the system show dose response curves within each therapy, it shows dose response curves between therapies. So you have a choice, a complex algorithm on the left that you require substantial attention to for 20 minutes, or a fully automated system on the right. You look at the green column, and in a few minutes, you know the therapies that work. We have testimonials from world-famous key opinion leaders stating that our device is truly on the cutting edge. Our team is excellent, in particular our scientific advisory board as some of the world's leading experts in coagulation, research, and clinical management. To date, we've raised $6.2 million from angels. We've developed 3 generations of devices and cartridges. We completed a feasibility study in cardiac surgery at the Mayo Clinic, and the data suggests we need to improve our mixing, and that's what we're raising capital for. We are going to build a GMP system. We have 7 unique patents, and we've had 3 meetings with the FDA, and we know this will be a de novo clearance. So we're seeking $6 million now to build the GMP system and validate the GMP system in patients in heart surgery. That will be a major hockey stick inflection point, but if you want to see the additional milestones and costs after this first system validation, our total capital requirement to market is $25 million. Significant revenue potential. Year 3 of sales, we are projecting revenue of $75 million. This is only in heart surgery, but this also can impact women, postpartum hemorrhage, trauma victims. So there are multiple other populations that could be helped. This is a list of potential acquirers. So if you have information, feel free to contact me. Thank you for your time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sheldon. And thank you, Debbie, for your introductions. We appreciate that. The investor poll for Coagulation Sciences is up on your screen. As a reminder, direct investors only. So to introduce our final 4 presenters, I would like to introduce longtime CONNECTpreneur partner and sponsor, Sarah Clasper, who is an associate with Next, powered by Shulman Rogers, which is disrupting the way startup law is being performed with packaged offerings on a fixed price basis. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Skylar. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tien, Skylar, Avery, Emily, and everyone on the CONNECTpreneur team for today's great event. We are very honored to be a longtime sponsor and supporter of CONNECTpreneur, a leading global event connecting entrepreneurs, investors, and all other members of the startup ecosystem. Next, powered by Schulman Rogers, is an innovative new model for the delivery of legal services from a company's launch through every stage of their growth, and we designed our program from an entrepreneur's perspective. This means we provide reasonable and predictable fixed price packages for our legal services. We work directly with our clients and have a very hands-on legal services model. And finally, we integrate a robust technology platform that creates a client-centric experience that is collaborative, efficient, and transparent. The first company I have the honor of introducing today is Predix Bio, Dusty Majumdar, CEO. Predix Bio is powering next-generation cancer therapeutics with AI-driven spatial biomarkers, which will help predict patient outcomes by accelerating discovery and revolutionizing clinical trials across the country. Please welcome Dusty.
Thank you. So at Predix Bio, we are reimagining cancer care with the latest cutting-edge technology called spatial biology, revolutionizing drug discovery and development. Let's take a look at patient Sue, who has stage 4 non-small cell lung cancer. Her survival rate is less than 10%. Therapy recommended immunotherapy. Response rate only 20%. And she has no idea if she's in the 20% who's going to respond versus the 80% who's not going to respond. And none of these drugs have make any difference with respect to her response or non-response. Let's look at a parallel universe of clinical trials. 90% failure in clinical trials. So what do the two things have in common? The lack of a predictive biomarker. A biomarker is a measurable indicator that's going to tell you if a patient or a cohort group in a clinical trial is going to respond or not. Today, with no biomarkers or a pretty crappy biomarker, you get around 20% response rate. With spatial biomarkers, which Predix Bio has been pioneering, you're close to 90%. This is what we've been doing for the last 5 years. We have published around 25 papers on this and have some of the largest biopharma customers in our portfolio. Accuracy of 90% in terms of response to immunotherapy with spatial biomarkers versus the standard of care. This is our mission. We actually use actionable AI-driven spatial biomarkers to reveal cancer biology and help pharma companies. We're raising $2 million right now. We only have $400,000 left and a great opportunity to come in at a fantastic valuation of $22 million pre-money. We are in revenue, raised $1.1 million last year in revenue from companies like BMS, Genmab, AbbVie, Amgen, etc. Very proud to say that we are all of these clinical trials, phase 1, 2 mainly, where we actually expose the mechanism of action in phase 1, 2. And we're a tech bio company that's pioneered spatial multiomics and spatial biology. A few years ago, we had the realization that tumor heterogeneity, tumor is a very heterogeneous complex system. Tumor heterogeneity is not random. We actually found an organizing principle to explain heterogeneity. And we use microdomains as the guide for our organizing principle, which exposed network biology of cancer. Let's take a quick look at what exactly we do in terms of exposing the network biology of cancer. This is, let me try to play it again. This is the tumor microenvironment. You have all kinds of complex cells here, tumor cells, immune cells, stromal cells. We are able to find out with proteomic biomarkers embedded with each cell, the communication between different cells, as well as discovering these microdomains, which are spatial configurations of cells coming together in specific constellations. Once we find this with computer vision and AI, we are able to correlate this directly into response to therapy. This is what got us into Nature in terms of being the method of the year for the last year, 2024. And this is what has got us into multiple pharma customers from BMS to Kite to AstraZeneca to Jazz. Let me show you some results. This is for a company called Genmab. We're able to predict with 93% accuracy response to immunotherapy. And as a result of that, they commercialized a drug called Epkinly, which is in the market for lymphoma. Here are results for colorectal cancer. We're able to predict with 93% accuracy colorectal cancer progression and expose the network biology. This is why BMS and AstraZeneca came and became our customers. Here's the biggest killer of all, non-small cell lung cancer. We're able to predict with 92% accuracy the survival for the patients with non-small cell lung cancer, and it also exposed the network biology. Healthy portfolio right now of different cancers that we have been able to do this. Market is huge. We expect this market to be close to 100 billion. The team's very experienced. I come from General Electric Healthcare and IBM and various startups like Exact Sciences and also Cancer Link. Besides the patents we talked about, extremely strong moat, and we are confident that we're going to have a very healthy exit strategy in the $1 to $2 billion range. So come and help us change the face of treatment of cancer and making a difference in terms of survival for patients who are in great need. Thank you very much and look forward to the breakout session.
Thank you very much. There is now an investor poll up for Predix Bio. You have a minute to take a look. And if you're an direct investor. Next this morning, we have Propel IoT. Propel IoT provides affordable, real-time, movable asset management and technology and information for better company decision-making. Please welcome Propel IoT, Rick Bertner, President and CEO.
Thanks so much, Tien and Skylar and team. Thanks for having such a quality forum to further entrepreneurship. I'm the founder as well as the president and CEO. Our ask is $3.5 million of a Series A. We have $3 million of institutional funds committed. Our investors and board have approved going up to $5.2 million if we have some interesting people that want to join our syndicate. For accredited investors, it's a $50,000 minimum, and we're excited to be here today. The purpose of the funding is to bring on a 10-person team that have helped me build three prior companies and the same kind of business. We also need the working capital. We've bootstrapped the business to date, and we've exceeded $1 million of revenue post-pandemic. And now it's a pivot point to really seize the market opportunities that we have. The money that we're bringing in also fully funds our 3-year business plan. So it's a milestone that we believe we can accomplish for less than $10 million of investment. Who we are and what we do. We provide real-time information on mobile, movable assets, primarily for the supply chain, regional delivery, service van market, and when it arrives at the ultimate building or hospital, we're a data highway that connects all three in one easy-to-use, manageable platform. We're also focused on the SMB market, small, medium business, that represent 80% of our 2.2 trillion market of focus. And they're very underserved, need this to be competitive. And our vision is to build, create, innovate. And that's part of the DNA of our team. Having done this 3 other times, we're coming back together to do it a 4th. The ultimate innovation that we're seeking is to disrupt the status quo. What does that mean? There's a lot of devices out there in the IoT sector produced in China. Data's passing through China. We're a US-based data repository, and we also use latest technology and software stack. So we don't have legacy outmoded technology to deal with. We're building a 15 million plus profitable revenue stream in the next 3 years, and we expect that'll give us a huge opportunity for an exit and a liquidity event. We're not trying to boil the ocean and build $1 billion company. We're taking incremental foundational steps to get us to the next level and expect a global partner will likely want to take us at that point. Here's our market size, fast growing CAGR, and again, most of it is made up of SMBs. Their challenge is they don't have the money to have deep IT departments, but they need technology to be competitive. There's a cyber threat. We talked about the data needing to stay in the US, and we actually give them a price as our solution that helps them save money. We're linked to the latest technology like AI, and we expect will further pass on these savings where larger competitors can't do that as readily and easily as us. You can see that we plan to achieve our goal for less than 10 million invested. We can take more than 3.5. We've got 500,000 remaining, but as I mentioned, we can go up to 5 million to accommodate the right partner. Our experienced team has over 100 years of experience in this sector, and that's really helpful to what we're about to accomplish. So the milestones are absorb the team, increase our branding, get to 3 to 5 million base case upside case this year. And by the end of this first year, we're going to be a totally different company, more than twice the value of today, based on our experience having done it before. You can see the advantages to our customer, as we've described. For the investor, there's an opportunity to have a 50+% IRR within the next 2 to 3 years. Again, thanks for your time, and we'd love to share more in the breakout session about our company.
Thank you so much. There is now an investor poll up for investors for Propel IoT. And next this morning, we have Tess Energy Solutions. Tess Energy Solutions is developing thermal energy salvage, storage systems, and converting it into energy. Please welcome Michael Logan, CEO.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. This is a great forum. Let me get this into proper format for you. Thermal energy salvage and storage. What we're about is enhancing the bottom line of businesses while we improve the global environment. In 2022, we spent $10 trillion on energy worldwide, and we successfully managed to waste over half of that as thermal energy. Ice to water to vapor is a phase change material. Using an environmentally friendly, programmable synthetic phase change material, all of the formulations of which and processes are patented, we're in a position to take wasted thermal energy and make it resilient energy, restoring it to processes that are converting it to electricity. Regarding the climate change battle and the arguments on both sides, I was listening to Billy Bob Thornton in Landman. He said, the thing that's going to kill us all is we're going to run out of it, meaning fossil fuels, before we find its replacement. We're the replacement. We developed an app over the last couple of years, which took us about 1.8 million. It allows us to project our value to a potential client within 95% accuracy by our PhD chief engineer. There's been 12 million invested in taking us to the now generation 5. We have clients like Ball and Novellus and Lyondell, since we've got our app up and running in November, that are processing through pre-engineering. We did a time travel for one of them. I can't tell you which one, but we told them if we went back in time and had our stuff there in 2020, they would have had $118 million more in their bottom line in 2021. There is no real competition. This is a gold mine. Most batteries store electrons. We store thermal energy, which can be stored far more densely. In the space of half of a football field with a solar concentrator, we can generate 14 to 20 megawatt hours of electricity. This is our amazing team. Our inventor, Dr. Stefan Bilodeau, who consults with the United Nations on climate and other related issues. Our own chief engineer, Dr. John Victor Christie, experienced in all things having to do with phase change materials, which is what we're about. We are in a situation now where we're looking at massive leads coming in. I saw on the previous slide, I forgot to mention, 8,000 leads coming in from the Association of Energy Engineers. We're going to need mass production. So that's a $40 million Series A capital raise. It'll be in $10 million increments starting March 1st. We have $1 million available late seed in the LLC, which is Tess Energy Solutions, which will be the majority owner of the C Corp. An interesting thing, by the way, there are only 200 units of ownership in the C Corp. So if we meet our projections and we get that $1 billion EBITDA after 3 years, that's basically $5 million per unit of ownership, just saying. So that's about us. I'm looking forward to meeting you in the breakout room. I will say this in closing. I asked Dr. Bilodeau what happens if we get this around the world, we get into all of the vertical markets. He said, Mike, will reduce the global energy consumption by a third, rolling back the damage that's been caused by our energy waste, and will return $1 trillion a year to the global economy. That's what TESS is about. I'm looking forward to talking with you in the breakout room. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Michael. There is now another investor poll up, investor poll 8 for TESS Energy Solutions. Our last company this morning is Wavy Analytics. Wavy Analytics is a retail tech company that helps brick and mortar stores improve their customer experiences and optimize their in-store operations through privacy-compliant emotion analysis. Please welcome Anton Timoshev, co-founder and CEO.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anton Timoshev, co-founder and CEO at Wavy Analytics. And at Wavy, we've created the world's first customer satisfaction sensor. A little bit about myself and my co-founder. So this is our second emotion recognition company. The first one, called Sensimeter, is doing quite well and running itself. It uses cameras to detect emotions for online experience. And there we came into contact with CPGs that told us it would be great to know what shoppers feel standing in front of the product on the shelf in the store. And that's kind of how the idea for Wavy was born. And then we developed this breakthrough technology that essentially allows retailers to get real feedback from all customers in real time. So using this sensor, we can detect emotions in physical spaces. The applications are limitless in healthcare, security, gaming, smart homes, but retail is our expertise, and we are starting with retail. The product looks like this. So it's a sensor installed anywhere in the store and a software as a service dashboard. The problem is that customer feedback is still measured with surveys, which take a long time, are biased, and have a very small sample size. And the stores, they have all the tools to adapt the retail environment quickly and monitor it, but they don't have the feedback loop needed to know what to change or what are the effects of the change that they are implementing. Our sensor essentially asks and answers 3 questions from each shopper without actually asking. So we can say, did you find what you were looking for? Was the price okay? And was it generally a comfortable shopping experience? And this provides the real-time data to be able to fix issues quickly and optimize the store. How does it work? So installed in the store, it uses radio waves, so there's no camera, to detect the person and detect that person's physiological state. So we detect a combination of heart rate, breathing, and microactions. And since an emotion really is a physiological response reflected in the body, we can accurately match a physiological state to a certain emotion. And the emotions relevant for retail is customer satisfaction and purchase intent. And on the bottom of the slide, regular human body tracking. So footfall traffic metrics for us are a no-brainer. Compared to surveys, it's 1,000 times better in terms of sample size and the data collection speed. We think we are pretty fast for a hardware deep tech startup. In just over a year and a half, we went from idea to our first sale. And recently, we launched in January in the US, which is our final goal. It was a hit at the expo. Top retailers, top brands, everybody wants a pilot. And recently, we won the Coughlin Innovation Hub. A pilot with them is also in the pipeline. The market looks like this. So smart retail is growing very fast. Hardware is a big part of a smart retail market. So the retailers, they realized the power of analytics and optimizing the store environment during the e-com boom, during COVID, and now they want to bring that efficiency to the physical stores. And we are positioned right in the heart of that market, providing the data needed for smart retail systems to act and adapt to customers' needs. Our ask is 3 million from outside investors, which we will match with 1 million from the founders. That's all I have. Thank you very much. We'll be happy to connect in the breakout room.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And there's the last and final investor poll up for Wavy. If you're a direct investor, feel free to indicate interest there. So we are now going to open up breakout rooms. I am going to do two things. First is remind you to save the chat. The reminder to everyone to save your chat, because if you enter breakout rooms, your chat might leave. And the second is I'm going to put up one more sponsor poll. If you missed the first sponsor poll in the beginning of the meeting, I am going to have it up again. If you already answered it in the beginning of the meeting, no need to answer it again. We have your responses. So this is just in case you missed it in the beginning of the meeting if you're interested in any of these services. So I'm going to open up breakout rooms now. You can feel free to go in and out of any breakout rooms you would like. Like I said, it will be about 30 to 45 minutes of breakout rooms. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. And if you have any trouble getting into your breakout room, please put the breakout room you would like to be in the chat, and I will make sure you get put in the right breakout room. So just so everyone knows, that breakout room button is on the bottom toolbar right now, where you have mute, stop video, share, all that stuff. You should see a button that says breakout room. So feel free to enter the breakout room that you would like to be in. So with that, I will leave you to it, and another reminder to save the chat now and when you leave breakout rooms. So thanks everyone for joining, and we will talk to you soon.